So in this Staying on the Road, we have Alex from Revive by Genesis, and he's going to share the product line with you, how to fall in love with your RV again. You know, maybe your RV's gotten kind of old and ugly. Hate to say it like that, but hey, life happens. So it's time to bring that RV back to life, fall in love with it again with the Revive product line. So the Revive product line refreshes the inside of your RV, makes it look brand new. This product line is absolutely awesome. It's probably the best product I've seen in decades because of what it does and the simplicity of it and the cost savings and everything else about it. So we have Alex here. So Alex, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, no problem. We're glad to have you because this is a product that I think everybody that owns an RV, even new RVs, can use it. Because my wife saw it and she's like, we can do something with this wall in the RV. Just change the color of one wall. It's a new RV and makes perfect sense. A little, what would you call it? Contrasting color,
Yeah, accent wall, right? Accent wall.
There you go. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So Alex, so you're the expert at Revive. We'll just start off with that. So you know everything there is to know about this product. At least we hope so. So what's the purpose of the Revive product line?
Well, I mean, Eric, you said it best. It's to fall in love with your RV again. It's going to help end users or consumers to really be able to make the unit that they live in or that they travel in it look exactly how they want it to look inside. And it's also going to help dealerships with upfitting used units that are on the lot and just making RVs, the interiors of RVs, look exactly like consumers would like. So there's a few different product lines here within the Revive collection. And the first and main product line being a wall overlay. So it's just a peel and stick overlay with the same exact film that you're seeing in RVs today with a specialized adhesive. So in other words, it's not going to fall off. There's going to be a bunch of different colors that you can choose from, 10 to be exact, and you're able to see a wide variety from your lights to darks to wood grains to a little bit more design forward that could work, as you said, the accent wall. We also have two different colors when it comes to sealing kits. So it's still just the same thing. It's a peel and stick overlay with the two most popular designs for ceilings today. It's that pebbled look, that pebbled white look, and then like a speckled look that is more of a bright white. And then we also have some overlays for cabinets that you can do as well. So if you wanted to brighten up your kitchen or your bathroom with cabinetry, you can brighten it up. You can make it darker, or you can make it white or black as well.
All right, perfect. So that's interesting because that's the entire inside of an RV basically, other than the flooring.
Yeah. Anything decorative inside of the RV that is laminated, Genesis products, which Revive is the aftermarket for Genesis. Revive is able to handle for you.
Right. So what really got me, I mean, the walls and the ceilings are totally awesome, but doing the cabinets, making them look brand new, that was just ideal because, you make your walls look nice, but you still got these cabinets that look like they're from the 90s or something. It just doesn't work, but you can do the cabinets. So I should say not in every case it won't work, but I think you get certain cabinets that get a little beat up and man, you can refresh them, revive them, fall in love with your cabinets again. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. And just to go a little bit deeper with that too, Eric, I think that you said it well there. Most of the time you're able to overlay your cabinets. So you don't want to overlay anything that's too ornate because that's just going to get really difficult. But your standard shaker door, your 90-degree angles and everything, completely easy. But we also have a cabinet door program that if you go to a dealership that is stocking Revive, you can order brand new cabinet doors from Revive with your dealership, and they'll land to that dealership within 4 to 6 weeks in the color that you want, and then you will just be responsible to overlay the cabinet boxes. So you could have brand new cabinet doors in the Revive color of your choice, or you can overlay the cabinet door.
Right. See, that's perfect. Some cabinet doors you couldn't do yourself. Well, you could. They'd look horrible. So
Hmm.
just buying new ones makes absolute sense. Then they're new too. Depending on the RV,
Right.
you might need them at that point, you know.
Exactly.
Can beat
Exactly.
up a little bit beyond repair, you know. Screw holes are all massively, you know, widened out or made bigger because screws stripping out and so forth. All
Hmm.
right, perfect. So that's pretty cool. So that's definitely an awesome product. So now I was looking at your website the other day, the Revive website, and the installation looks, you know, pretty easy to me. You know,
Hmm.
looking at it, and I know that it's not 100% showing every like minute little step in the
Yeah.
videos because you can't do that. You'd be there forever doing it. So, is this something your average RV owner could do themselves?
Absolutely, absolutely. So especially with your wall boards. So your standard wall board is 4 foot wide by 8 feet tall, and then there's a little bit taken away with your trim pieces and everything. This material is super forgiving. It's a really thick vinyl with a nice embossment on it. And all it is it's just a peel and stick. So you start from the top and you work your way down, making sure that you're making sure that there's no air bubbles left inside of it. That being said, I'm pretty average at being handy, we can say. And reviving a wallboard is no problem for me.
All right. So, you said peel and stick. It kind of makes me think of, you know, people have bought like a laminate, you know, a vinyl
Yeah.
type laminate. You know, it has a
Mm.
wood grain on it, and they, you know, put it on their walls, and you see all these bubbles and seams, and you know, it just looks horrible, creases and stuff. It's like probably looked worse than what they had to begin with.
Yeah.
So this, if you use the putty knife that's provided, they're the, yeah, I
Hmm.
guess putty knife you'd call it. There's no problem if you just take your time, kind of think about the process and what you need to do. The air bubbles are the thing to get out. And the way
Hmm.
your videos show it, you're working in a one direction. So that makes it real simple, right? It's pretty much bulletproof at that point.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So what's really nice again is that you can rework this. So this vinyl, it's nice and thick. You can even crease this vinyl, and you're going to be able to work that out with the putty knife. So you get multiple tries with this. It's not one of those. It's not uh like that super sticky material that the contact paper that once you touch the wall, it's done. That's your only chance. No, this is something that you can mess with easily for an hour trying to make sure that you're getting this correct. And after 72 hours, that's when it's cured, and that's when it's going to be permanent. But yeah, it's the main thing is just working the bubbles out with the putty knife that's provided, and just making sure that you're going in straight lines.
Right. So I've done some wrap on vehicles before, like on my trailer. It has my logos and stuff on it. You
Hmm.
know, it's like a sideshow going down the road. But
Hmm.
it sounds like the product's totally different because those things you put on, you got a little bit of time with water,
Yeah.
you know, a little alcohol in it, and you can move it around. But you get to a point where that's it. You can't do it anymore. So any air bubbles in there, even though the manufacturer says air bubbles will come out, they
Yeah.
don't. You know,
Right.
you're kind
Right.
of stuck. Even
Right.
if you put a pinprick in it, it doesn't really do it, you know. It's kind of an
Yeah.
interesting thing, but yours sounds like it's even better than that, and it's probably because the just the way the material's made, the laminate, a little
Hmm.
bit thicker. Like you said, you could crease it, and I forgot about that. You said your installer folded it up, or someone did,
Yep.
made it like a ball and put it on, and
We had a tech a tech at one of the dealerships that we partnered with that said, "Oh, I want to see this made into a 6 pack." So they folded it up a bunch, and then we stuck it back on the board, and the creases came out. You couldn't even tell. Yeah, so it's obviously if you're crumbling it up into a little ball, and the adhesive is touching the adhesive, that's not great. But what makes this way different than what you were saying, Eric, with the car decals, is that with a decal like that, if you crease it, you're going to see that
yeah,
crease in it. With this, you're not going to see it. You're able to remove it, as we've shown at the shows and everything like that. And if there is an air bubble that you find later on, the pinprick trick absolutely works. The pinprick, or just a little slice with a sharp razor knife, and you can work that air bubble out.
Yeah, I'd use a pen, not a razor knife.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oops.
yeah. Right, right.
But you got plenty of time to take it off and start over.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, and thinking about that, some people are very particular. So that, like the time you have to move it around and adjust it, not that you really want to spend an hour trying to get one, panel done or something, or a half of it. That's crazy. But giving you that time, it relaxes. You can be a little calmer and
Hmm.
rational about it. Because, something like this, you get a little nervous and you start putting it up there and you feel like once you're committed, you're committed. And oh my gosh, and you just start rushing through it. But, to get it done now, But
Right.
that's pretty cool. You got the time, and time is on your side in this case.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Something that we do at the shows, which is where you and I met, um, is that we have like a wall board that we have up, like a piece of wall board that we're overlaying, and we use the same piece of Revive to overlay for 30, 40 minutes at a time, where we're taking it on and off nonstop for every single person that comes to visit. So for any viewers that come to the Hershey show, or the Tampa show, or any of these major shows that we're at, we have a wall board that we're overlaying, and we use the same piece for a very long time to show that it's super easy to use, and that you're really able to maneuver it after the initial stick.
all right. So that's great. So when you have that RV, you want to think about um, these types of things that you can bring it back to life, give it that whole new look without it being a total nightmare. Because replacing wall boards or ceiling panels is a lot of work and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So this makes it much simpler, and I think that's the whole point. And coming from the manufacturer who makes these products for RVs anyways, I mean,
Hmm.
that's a win-win. It's not somebody else trying to do it. You guys already are doing it. You just kind
Right.
of put it in a different direction. Now, with that being said, so you've got the product, you're ready to get going, and you've watched the videos. And in the videos, they make it look really easy, like
Hmm.
cutting out around some of the window rings and things like
Hmm.
that. Would you recommend it's better to take the rings off the window, or leave them on and then cut out around it and the little wall plates and things like that? Strip the wall of everything, or cut out around it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Just I guess I'll get into just prepping for it a little bit. And the first thing is, yes, I would make sure that I would want to take all of that off first. But before you do anything, you're going to want to clean the wall. You're going to want to wipe it down. So you can spray it with some some water that has mild soap in it. Wipe it down. Make sure that there's absolutely no citrus or oil-based cleaners that you're using, because that will eat away at our adhesive, and that's super important to understand. Just uninstall any of the light fixtures, or the window rings and everything, and then overlay. And then cut, and then use those guidelines to cut the material. The material is really easy to cut as well. You just want to make sure that you have a sharp blade. And then when you're reinstalling everything, it's very important to note that if there's any like screw holes that you're going to be screwing anything back into that you've previously overlaid, you want to mark that as you're overlaying it, and then you want to puncture it before you screw anything back in, because that'll cause what we call creep, which is like the little veins that you can see.
Mm.
But if you puncture it before, then that will not happen.
Okay, great. So one thing I want to say though, if you take the rings off your windows,
Hmm.
you got to make sure your window's not going to fall out,
Yeah, yeah.
because that is the clamp that holds it in. It's probably going to stay in there by itself because of it's sealed in there. But I would make some small little clamps just to hold it in place, some temporary ones, which would be
Hmm.
pretty simple to do. A little piece of metal or something, have two or three of them or four of them around the window
Yeah,
using existing screw holes.
yeah. You
This-
don't have to. Just taking the trim off around it is ample. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, if you had someone that you don't like, to have them stand outside and hold it for an hour or so.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Hey, or that's the thing. It doesn't take very long to do this, so they won't be out there for very long. Maybe if it's cold, you have them go out. If you don't like them, then you have them go out there, and you can take your time.
Now, when you so let's say you do a wall with a window in it, and So you take the ring off, you put the Revive on there, the laminate looks great. And can you put that ring on right away? You don't have to worry about it, like
Yeah,
the Revive setting up or anything like that?
yeah, as long as you're happy with what your overlay looks like, the bubbles are gone, you've removed bubbles and the lineup is there. Yeah, you can put the ring back on.
Okay, so you can just put it right on, then that's pretty cool. So you're not wasting time having to wait. So you can get it
Correct.
back on there and kind of move on. Then you see the finished product. The sooner you see
Mhm.
it, you're like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really nice to see the contrast, the before and afters.
And then some RVs, they might have wood trim at the wall and the ceiling, and a lot of them have that plastic beading in there.
Hmm.
I know it's two different things, but putting the overlay on there, does that make it harder, or you have to take the trim off if you have wood trim, the beading, would you cut it out or just leave it there and just carefully put the overlay up to it?
So great question. I guess you can do both. You can do either one, right? So the overlay absolutely can go over that as long as it's not too ornate. But if you remove it, we put into each one of our kits, there's an 1.5 inch seam tape that matches the roll that you can wrap the battens or the inside corner, the small inside corners and everything like that. Or what you can do is you can over if it's easy enough to overlay, you can, but you really want to make sure that there's no air bubbles that get left there. So you want to be careful. My best suggestion is that you would want to remove that and then overlay the battens and then reinstall them.
Right. Okay, so like some RVs, like if you have like, let's say a brown panel look on the walls, and it's going
Hmm.
to have a brown bead between the wall and the ceiling. So that
Hmm.
bead might be better off to cut out and
Hmm.
then get some trim or battens and then wrap those and then put them back
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that can make it a little more involved, but it's not the end of the world, especially wrapping those battens. I mean, they look like they'd really be easy to do. To lay them out, put it on there, flip them over, and wrap the backside.
Yeah. They're very easy to do, yeah.
All
And that
right, so that
interlock is intentional for that as well.
Yeah, so that makes me think that before you started this project, even measuring and figuring out what material you need is to look at the overall project, what you might have to do before you ever start. So when you go to buy the material, all the overlay, that you're getting the right quantities and thinking about, well, I
Hmm.
might have to put in, 40 feet of battens or something like that.
Yeah.
Does the
Yeah.
kit come with enough? And just make sure you're
Hmm.
covered. And to just plan that out rather than just get
Hmm.
it, pull a release liner on it and put it up and start doing it.
Right. Right. No, that's a great point. We spent a ton of time looking into this kind of stuff as we were trying to come up with the different sizes and everything. So again, Genesis Products, the company that Revive is the aftermarket for, they do just thousands and thousands of wall boards, panels of anything from wall boards to ceiling panels, cabinets per week that we're sending out to all of our OEM partners, which are any OEM in the industry. And uh, what we noticed was, so obviously the standard wallboard is 4x8. So we wanted to make sure that we made it as easy for the retail customer as possible. So we made it a 2 foot wide by 50 foot or 2 foot wide by 100 foot. So you can easily butt the material up in the middle, and then that will give you your full width of the wallboard. And then with a 50-foot roll, you're able to overlay 3 full wall panels. And with a 100-foot roll, you're able to overlay 6 full wall panels. So the colors that are more of the mainstays that we see more commonly within RVs today, that we would probably recommend that you'd want to do a 100-foot panel or 100-foot roll. And the rolls that are more of the accent colors, the fashion forward designs, that'd be more ideal for the 50-foot rolls.
Okay, that makes sense. And in looking at an RV, 100-foot roll maybe doesn't sound like a lot at first, but when you really look at your RV, windows,
Yep.
sofas, furniture,
Hmm.
cabinets, 100-foot roll will go pretty far.
Absolutely.
It's not like you're gonna have to have six of those rolls. So you get that out of your head, I guess, really, because I was
Right.
thinking about it. You're all of a sudden you're slicing and dicing. You're not going to use 100 feet up
Right.
real quick. It's going to take a while to go through that
Yeah.
in most RVs, because there's so much
Hmm.
stuff in there packed in on the walls that there's really not that much wall in some cases.
Right. It's perfect for a finish one of the rooms now and come back to a different room, like a bathroom later on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you do one room, you're just going to have to keep on going. There's no stopping, I think. It's going to
Yeah.
look, you're going to like, man, that's a new house.
Yeah. It looks brand new, and these are all super clean designs as well.
You want to hug that RV and show it some love.
Fall in love with it again, right?
So, someone does this, they go to all this work and they make their RV look, totally awesome again. How long will this material last on the walls?
This is so that's the beautiful thing about Revive with its specialized adhesive. It's going to be permanent. 72 hours. The only way that after 72 hours it's cured, and once it's cured, the only way that it's coming off is if the material behind it that you're overlaying comes off as well. So this becomes permanent after 72 hours. If you want to change it, you just overlay it with more Revive.
There you go. So if you had some of the previous laminate overlay coming off,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to use a Revive product, you'd want to pull off as much as that would
Absolutely.
just come off, and then
Yep.
sand down the edges and kind of feather it out.
You're like a pro already, Eric. So yeah, you just want to lightly tear off the overlay that is the film that's there. You want to just lightly sand the threshold, the edges of where the film is, and then overlay. And what's nice about it is that with the thickness of the vinyl and the emboss that's there, you're not necessarily going to see that where you made that tear. So it's really nice. It's just going to lay flat over it, and it's going to be able to hide any of those where the film came off before.
Right. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So this really sounds like the ideal product. It looks like it, and the installation, I think, is anybody could do this pretty much with just taking a deep breath and go at it. Now, with the walls sound pretty easy. Now the ceilings might be a little tougher because you're working up.
Mm-hmm.
So is that really the only difference? You're just working up, and maybe
Yeah,
two people need to be there, one holding it as you're
yeah.
squeezing it out.
So ceiling. It's really the same type of process. Obviously, it's up on the ceiling, but it's the same overlay type of process. What we've seen is that in some dealerships is that they have panels that they're just overlaying and then installing, or for retail, what it would be is that you know where your lineup is. You make your initial stick, and then you just work it across the top of the ceiling. Yeah, I would recommend making sure that your space is clear so you're not, as you look up, you don't trip over anything, and having someone there to help would be nice as well. But what you can do, and you'll realize this as you're overlaying walls as well, just unroll the roll, have the roll kind of like rolled out, and then
Right.
just work the material towards the bottom or the side of the panel that you're working on.
Right. So starting off with walls would be the best way to go. Get a little practice done on
Yep, yep.
a, and then do the ceiling.
It's funny. So I'm assuming most of your viewers and listeners, and then most techs already, they're going to be able to get the hang of this super quickly. It took and significantly faster than it took for me to be able to get this down. DIYers, they always surprise me. People come up to us at shows and they have really cool ideas on how to make the installation process easier, and they there's always great ideas with this. So yeah, I would say starting with a wall with some practice is great, and I have a feeling that a lot of people that are going to be listening to this will probably already be pretty good at this.
Yeah, it just made me think that this probably would start a lot of businesses. People will buy this and go into the renovation
Yeah,
work for, start doing renovations for a living
absolutely.
because it's so easy.
Absolutely. So this is a dealership and a mobile technician's dream product, because never before have you been able to just overlay like regular wallpaper. It's great. It's a great product, but it's meant to be in your home. And when you wallpaper at things in your home, your house is staying right around 72 degrees. There's not a ton of humidity. It's not getting super hot or super cold. And let's be honest, your house isn't moving unless there's like an earthquake or whatever's happening. But,
Right.
but an RV is a house on wheels, and you're going to go into super hot temperatures, super cold temperatures, very humid temperatures, and you're going and you're going to be moving. This is not going to stick. This is meant to stick for the long haul. The adhesive is different than a regular wallpaper, and that's what makes Revive so special. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this product just sounds awesome. Now, one thing I do want to make sure our listeners understand, because it's important, and why you would use Revive over buying panels if you can find them. Panels aren't exactly the easiest thing to find, whether it's wall boards or the ceiling panels. Then, of course, cabinets. To have cabinets remade would be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So buying panels versus using your product, what do you think the cost difference would be?
Right. So really what people can do is, if retail, when you're looking at a 50-foot roll that's going to overlay three up to three panels, retail is going to be right around the $220 mark, so less than $100 a panel. If someone wanted just a brand new panel that they can overlay, they can use our product Revive on brand new panels and replace, if they wanted to do that. But if they just wanted to overlay, they're going to be able to get away with almost an entire room for under $220. Now the 100-foot rolls, they're a little bit more expensive, double the product, but the value is there. That's going to be right around that $380 mark for a 100-foot roll that covers 6 full wall boards. And like we said earlier, you're going to be able to cover most of your RV with that.
Right. And the panels, to buy them,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter what RV service center gets them. They're going to have them shipped to them. They're going to come on a truck.
Yep.
So you're going to pay trucking freight, which is, you could spend $200 to $300 to $500 or $600 on that.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have to crate them at the factory, put
Mm-hmm.
all the panels in a crate. So there's a crating charge.
Yep.
And then when you get them, it's going to be inevitably, corners will be broken, edges will be rough, the material might have rubbed wrong and
Mm-hmm.
wore out spots in it, so you're going to have wear marks. So I think if you bought 10 panels, you might have 7 or 8 that would actually be good panels.
Right. And you're paying a premium for the shipping, because to palletize a 4x8 panel is unbelievably expensive, just like you said. And you have to wait. There's long wait times there, because when you go through the dealership, who then goes through the OEM, who then comes to Genesis, it takes a while. We're in production. I would say that our manufacturing skills are phenomenal, and we're very fast with what we do, but we have a ton of work that is going on at all times. So we'd have to wait for that color to come back through before we can do some extras, and then we would be able to ship everything off. So it takes some time. It takes some time. It takes a lot of money. Revive is immediate. There's over 230 dealerships throughout the country that are carrying Revive right now, and retail customers are able to go there and able to get the color that they need, the design that they need, and they can have new wallboards and new interior very quickly.
All right. So yeah, and you can go to Home Depot and buy a Luan panel and put the Revive on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you feel you need new panels, there you go. There's a simple solution. But buying them, even if you could find, you're not going to find the panels like a finished panel at Home Depot, Lowe's, or any place like that. You're going to have to go through an RV service center. And again, it's the time, it's the money. So doing a room with your RV with this product is going to be less than half the price. Probably 30%.
There's going to be tons of cost savings. Tons of cost savings.
Yeah, it'd be phenomenal. And then if you mess up and you ruin a panel, you got to get one more.
Right.
It'll be a long wait and very expensive. So this is the way to go. You mess up a wall, you can redo it. So the Revive product line. So Alex, I think you've answered all the questions. So for our listeners out there, if you have any more questions, you can contact me at our website, thesmartrver.com, or you can go to revive. Or what's your website, Alex? I forget it.
It's genesisproductsinc.com, and then there's the slash revive.
Okay, so there you go. So any other questions, you could also go to Revive and ask them. They're the experts. I mean, I'm an expert, but they're the true experts on this product. So, Alex, I want to thank you for coming by today. We really appreciate the time and sharing your expertise with us.
Eric, thanks for having me. Really excited to be here, and happy to answer any questions that any of the listeners have.